You're about to dive deep into the brutal, brilliant, and often bizarre world of ancient warfare strategies, uncovering the secrets behind military history's greatest victories and most catastrophic defeats. This isn't just about swords and shields. It's about the art of war, the psychology of combat, and the groundbreaking innovations that shaped empires. From Rome and Greece to Persia, Egypt, and the Mongol horde, we'll explore the battlefield tactics that turned underdogs into conquerors, and the fatal missteps that brought mighty powers to their knees. Let's begin with the ancient Egyptian military and their unique approach to war. Especially during the New Kingdom, Egypt became renowned for its mastery of chariot warfare. These weren't cumbersome wagons. They were agile, two-wheeled machines pulled by horses and manned by a deadly duo, a driver and an archer. The archer, standing in a curved, D-shaped cab, wielded a powerful composite bow capable of striking enemies from a distance while the chariot raced across the battlefield. For close encounters, they carried javelins and curved swords like the khopesh, designed to slash through armor and bone alike. These chariots didn't charge blindly. They were used to flank enemy lines, fire arrows in motion, and retreat before a counterstrike landed. Egyptian infantry followed up the chaos, wielding spears, battle axes, and short swords, shielded by cowhide or wooden barriers. Their battlefield dominance came from speed and coordination, but there were limits. Chariots demanded flat terrain, were costly, and were vulnerable if horses were injured. Without heavy cavalry or mobile reserves, Egypt's armies could be outmaneuvered by more flexible or entirely mounted opponents in later periods. But if Egypt was built on mobility and timing, the Persian Empire crafted its power on precision and pressure. The Achaemenid Persians developed a strategy rooted in missile fire and cavalry mobility. Their typical infantry line began with the sparabera, shield-bearers who carried large rectangular wicker shields they could plant into the ground to form a semi-mobile fortress. Behind them stood disciplined ranks of archers wielding composite bows. Losing devastating volleys meant to soften enemy formations before the fight ever turned to steel. Elite units like the Immortals added another layer of shock and versatility. 10,000 strong, always at full strength, and equipped with long spears, bows, short swords, and scale armor beneath their cloaks. On the flanks, Persian cavalry brought flexibility to the battlefield. Some light and fast with javelins, others armored cataphracts armed for impact. The Persian strategy shined on open plains, where archers and cavalry could wear enemies down from afar. But it wasn't invincible. Their lighter infantry, while mobile, often crumbled in close-quarters melee against heavier formations like the Greek Phalanx. At battles like Marathon and Thermopylae, disciplined Greek infantry on favorable terrain could neutralize Persian range advantages, forcing brutal hand-to-hand combat that exposed weaknesses in Persian close combat training and armor. Now imagine two men, separated by centuries and culture, but united by unmatched military minds: Sun Tzu and Genghis Khan. Sun Tzu, the legendary Chinese strategist of the 5th century BC, preached the art of winning without battle. His philosophy, captured in The Art of War, emphasized psychological warfare, deception, and adaptation over brute force. He believed that all warfare is based on deception, that you should appear weak when strong, disorganized when disciplined, and draw your enemy into traps of your own design. He urged commanders to disrupt supply lines, divide alliances, and use terrain to disorient the enemy. Prolonged wars drained states of resources and morale, so he advocated for swift, efficient victories. Sun Tzu didn't focus on weaponry. His strategy was mental. Victory wasn't about killing more enemies. It was about breaking their will to fight. In contrast, Genghis Khan conquered with speed, terror, and devastating precision. The Mongol war machine was built around the composite recurve bow, crafted from wood, sinew, and horn, capable of shooting arrows over 300 yards with lethal force even while on horseback. Every Mongol warrior carried several bows and could shoot with terrifying accuracy in all directions, even performing the famed Parthian shot, firing backward while retreating. For close combat, They used curved sabers, spears, and battle maces, clad in lightweight lamellar armor that prioritized agility. But Genghis's real genius lay in tactics. His signature move was the feigned retreat. A small unit would attack, then flee, luring enemies into pursuit. Once the enemy formation broke and stretched thin, hidden Mongol forces would emerge, surrounding and obliterating them. The Mongols also employed signal flags and battlefield horns to communicate in real time, coordinating attacks with near-modern efficiency. Their speed was unmatched. Each rider had multiple horses, allowing them to cover vast distances. Beyond the battlefield, Genghis waged psychological warfare. Cities that resisted were annihilated, while those who surrendered were spared and absorbed. He adopted siege technologies from conquered regions, using catapults, trebuchets, and early gunpowder weapons to break fortified cities. The Mongols didn't just win battles, they shattered resistance before it could form. But even history's most brilliant generals weren't immune to failure. Take Hannibal Barca, the Carthaginian commander whose tactics remain legendary. At the Battle of Cannae, Hannibal faced a Roman army nearly twice the size of his own. With a mix of Carthaginian infantry wielding short swords and javelins, Numidian cavalry skilled in hit-and-run attacks, and Celtic warriors with long slashing blades, he executed a masterstroke, the double envelopment. He allowed the Romans to push into his center, then collapsed his flanks inward, surrounding and annihilating them. It was one of the most devastating tactical defeats Rome ever suffered. Yet Hannibal, despite winning battles across Italy and remaining undefeated in open combat for over a decade, ultimately lost the war. Why? He failed to break Rome's alliance network. While many Italian cities suffered, Rome's allies either held firm or were quickly retaken. Hannibal lacked the manpower and siege equipment to assault fortified cities, including Rome itself. He believed his battlefield victories would force peace, but Rome's will was unbreakable. Under Fabius Maximus, they adopted the Fabian strategy: avoid direct battle, harass his supply lines, and bleed his forces through attrition. Without reinforcements from Carthage, whose naval weakness prevented aid, Hannibal was eventually cornered. His story proves that tactical brilliance can't overcome strategic isolation or underestimate the endurance of a determined enemy. If you're fascinated by these profound lessons from ancient history and want to explore more of the battlefield strategies that shaped civilizations, make sure to like this video, subscribe for more captivating historical insights, and let us know in the comments. Which ancient battlefield innovation do you think had the most lasting impact on warfare, and why?